Okay. Hello.
Howdy.
I'm going to wait a few minutes for people to come in, and then I'm going to give a brief introduction about what we have for this week's lab. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me, put it in the chat while we wait.
Brandon, sorry, just to ask for the assignment three, like you say, is we don't need
Hmm?
this at all. Like we don't need four, we don't need five.
You do need 4 and 5 for some part of it. One of
Okay.
the questions,
Yep.
only a reasonably small part. Um, Obviously, it's useful to know about these things for all
Okay.
of it,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah. Yeah.
strictly need something in uh, module 5 for assessment for one part of assessment 3.
Yep. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. But it is a very creative, open-ended one, so you can probably get started on most of it,
Yep.
most of assessment 3 already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Thank you.
I'm going to wait another minute and then I'll give an introduction to this week's lab. Okay. John, I'll do that after I've done the introduction because I think it can lead into it, I guess. All right. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the lab where we're going to be working on much the same stuff that we did in the lecture. We're going to be talking about LLMs. So, just to recap the lab sheets up to now to try to like place where we are. We started at a high level. We started by looking at prompting a VLM and asking it to do something for us. We saw ways that it would work, that would work, and ways that it wouldn't, ways that it could give specific answers and ways that it wouldn't. That's sort of how to use it. And we need to think about those things when we're using them. But it also helps to know how they work underneath. And so after that, we went really basic, we went to the really fundamentals of machine learning, and we looked at how our models trained it all. What is a model? How do we train it? Then we looked at evaluating the model. How do we check that we've got a good model? Then we started looking at computer vision tasks. We looked at different kinds of tasks, and we looked at how do we train a computer vision model, and how do we set hyperparameters and train it well and make a good model that will really work well on the complex vision tasks. And then in the lecture today, we started talking about LLMs and how they work and how we train them. And we considered how do we get the complex text into an LLM? Sure, if we have an LLM that's been trained, we kind of now have an idea of what it means to have a trained LLM. It's seen a bunch of examples. It has been trained to respond in certain ways. Nuts and bolts, how do we interact with those LLMs? And so in this lab, we're going to be looking in detail at the tokenization of text, exactly what that looks like. You're going to see some examples of it. We're also going to look at templating and how those control tokens fit together into an input to the model. And we're going to look briefly and try to explore those word embeddings and the space of the vector space that those word embeddings end up in, and just sort of check, does it make sense? Is it doing kind of what we expect? Of course, in reality, it'll be a bit more complicated than the theory, but is it kind of doing what we expect? And so that's what this lab is about. It is looking at that input to the model, getting ready to actually use them, but in a more nuts and bolts view than we did at the start, so that we can really understand what's going on. Okay. As I said in the lecture, your assessment 2 is due on Sunday. So you should be getting to that pretty soon. So if you finish with this lab today, start working on your assessment 2, or continue working on your assessment 2, hopefully. Um, and lastly, I'm going to answer John's question. I think it's useful for everyone to know. Um, assessment 3 is a bit soft. Yes. The submission is a video. So in assessment 1, it was a quiz. Assessment 2, it's a report. And in assessment 3, we've got a much more open-ended creative thing, and we want you to do a video. We want you to basically do like a pitch for a business, maybe not a business, a pitch for like a tool that could be used by people to do something useful. And you need to think about how people are going to interact with the system. What types of data do they input? What types of models will you need? And also, as I mentioned in the lecture, there's some information in next week's lecture about ethical considerations. What, how should you set it up so that it doesn't cause problems for people? And these are the considerations you must have for your pitch. Basically, you take an idea and you go, okay, how do I use AI models, all the different kinds of models and tasks that we've talked about? How can I use AI models to do that task? And we're looking for Especially, we're looking for things that can combine a lot of generative stuff. Um, Keeping in mind exactly, all right, it's got to take an image in this way, it's got to take a text in this way, and then it's going to go to these kind of model, and then that's going to produce something that we use in this bit of code. That idea is what you need to make for the assessment 3. Hopefully that makes sense. But again, it is a bit soft. It's creative. It is you trying to uh, think about solving a problem using AI, even if it even if it doesn't work, it may not actually work, that's fine, but just like proposing a way to use AI to solve a problem.
It's on the real world, yeah, Brendan. You need to be on the real world.
I
I
mean,
mean, real thing,
yeah, it doesn't
real happening
yeah.
in the industry. Yeah.
I mean, it would probably make it easier for you because you can more easily consider like potential problems, what exactly you're trying to achieve. If it's more of a toy example, then you can get stuck being like, what exactly do I want it to do again? It could be this, could be that. Right? If you ground it in something that's real, then it's easier to link it there that way.
Now, on the assessment, final assessment, they also mentioned about teamwork, team meetings. What's all about? It's team
Sorry,
meetings. Team meetings.
what about team meetings? I haven't heard of any team meetings.
At least on the manual you have, at least you have to record how many minutes you have associated with your team. Is that collaboration
Huh?
with the assignment?
Sorry, I'm not sure where you're looking. Can you tell me where you're looking?
On
In the
final
assessment 3, there's
3,
an implementation part.
yeah,
It said the
yeah.
team implementing the prototype, create a web page.
Okay. So at the top of the description, we are sort of proposing a scenario, right? You're going to propose an AI system, and then there's going to be a team that implements it.
Yes.
So you need to keep in mind that, different people might interpret how it's supposed to work differently when they go to build it. That particular question, I believe, is under ethical considerations.
Okay, okay.
Is it?
Now down below, when you have to submit your assessment, you have to present the times how many, how much time or you have discussed with the team, with your team, project team?
All right, you might have to share your screen because I don't know where you're looking. That's not. I'm not clear what you're talking about there.
Hang on a minute over there.
By the way, Brandon, we don't
Mm-hmm.
have a final exam.
No, there's no exam for this subject. All of your mark is entirely decided by your assessment marks.
Okay, that's new.
Yeah. And to be clear, assessment 1 is worth 20%. Assessment 2 and 3 are worth 40% each.
When are we gonna get assessment 1, Brandon?
By next week.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
What's the pass mark for the whole subject?
I believe it's 50. You just have to get 50. You just have to get an average of 50 to pass
On each assessment, and you're good to go.
overall. So if you get 10% on one and you get 90% on another,
Yep.
that's fine.
Okay, I'll share now, Brandon.
Okay.
Just a quick one. You said Sunday meeting for assignment 2, but if you get a 3-day extension, it's Wednesday. Is that right? Or what?
That's right. That's right.
Oh, good. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. You can still do the 3-day extension. That's right.
It's in my thing.
I can see your background. Yes.
Yeah,
That's a nice looking background.
I don't know where I don't know where I am. Hang on a minute.
You have multiple screens, right?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be anyway.
Is that in India?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I got it now.
I can see that window, yes.
Yeah, this one now.
Yep.
Can you see it now?
I can see
Hang on, sorry.
like a home page that you've got.
This one,
there.
this one now. Have you seen it?
I can only see a home page.
Oh, hang on a minute. Okay.
I can
I'll
see
share
like
again.
search and MSN and news.
This one. Wait a minute. Share again. I'll do it again.
How about this?
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen and then I'm just going to get you to tell me when to stop scrolling.
On the assessment 3.
Yeah, I know.
Final one.
That's under the video submission
under the
assistance. Video
assessment
submission, video
Yeah,
submission
that's
assistance.
one. Yeah, record. Yeah.
It said
This
record
is what
a
you're talking
team
about?
meeting.
Down here, team. Down below, team.
Yeah, okay. So this is
Yep.
talking about okay. Sorry. So you need to submit a video, right?
Yep.
It doesn't matter how you get that video, but you need to submit a video. This is simply telling you that here are some ways that you can create a video. You can record your screen with PowerPoint and speak into a microphone to produce your video. You could go into Teams, create a Microsoft Teams. You can
Oh,
create a Teams meeting and then record the meeting and then talk to an empty meeting room.
okay.
Like
You
a
can-
presentation.
That's
like
your
a-
presentation. Yep.
Yeah, because the submission is a video, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so we're just
No,
giving
no,
you
no.
options on how to create that video. Does that make sense?
It makes
Yeah.
sense. No, no.
Okay, that sounds like
Yeah.
you can demonstrate with the PowerPoint in the Teams and then talk through your plan or your
Yep, that's right.
and then record it. Okay. Yep,
Yep.
sounds good. Brandon, that assessment 2 has how many words? I remember you said there's no
Yes.
penalty with the
Well, so there will be a penalty if the answer is unclear. So if there's too many words and it's not clear English, then you will lose marks. But there's no direct loss of marks for the number of words. And I also
Okay.
want to reiterate that the 1,500 words at the top is an equivalent. Your actual submitted report should probably have no more than 500 words. That's what we're expecting. Okay.
no more than 500 words. Okay.
Yeah, as a rough guideline, but again, you will lose marks only if the answer is unclear because there's too many words.
Okay.
I'm getting a bit confused here. What is
Mhm.
the 1,500 but only 500 needs to be the actual words. I got
Okay,
lost there. That's where I picked the
yeah.
conversation up.
So this we have to talk a little bit meta outside of the subject. Um, Across the university, every assignment is sort of mandated. It has to have a number of words associated with that assignment as if it was an essay. However, for computer science subjects, and this is common across all computer science subjects, we have that mandate that we have to say how many words it is, but also it's not an essay. It's nothing like an essay. There's a lot of stuff we have to do that is not words on a page. And so we have to write for each of these assessments in all computer science subjects, this is the case, we make an equivalent number of words for the assessment. And so for a programming assignment, if it's exclusively programming, we would say maybe it's a 1,000 word equivalent programming assignment, just to give a sense of how big it is for the university's scale of number of words.
Yeah.
Now, for this assignment, we actually have a mixture, right? We have
Right.
some amount of code you have to run, tasks you have to do, which don't produce words.
Yeah.
And then we also have words that you have to write on a page.
Okay.
And so the 1,500 is saying the equivalent for everything is 1,500
Okay.
words. And we count basically the work that you do to tweak the hyperparameters, run the code, take the pictures,
Yeah.
collect the pictures, organize the pictures, put them into the Colab, run the code again, tweak it all around, give all of that. All of that counts as part of the word count equivalency.
Okay.
And
Cool.
so when you go to actually write the report, technically there are some amount of words, but because most of the work is in the other stuff,
Yeah.
the actual number of words that we're expecting you to write in terms of actual literal words is
Okay.
closer to 500.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
It's
Yes.
just a weird consequence of how the university decides to count how big an assignment is.
This changes the scale of the report I need to give. Have you got any example reports of different questions? I mean, that I can
No,
just have a
sorry.
squiz at?
No,
Okay, cool.
sorry.
I'm gonna write a 500-word essay now.
Well, it's not just,
Brendan,
it's supposed to be highly structured, right? We've
Yeah.
got several headings that you have to fill in. Yeah.
Can I leave the
Brendan,
headings in or leave it out?
Definitely keep the headings. If you do not have the headings, then it will be a problem. Yeah, you must have
Cool.
the headings.
Thank you. It's feeling even more structured. More
Yeah,
better.
it's supposed to be extremely structured and you don't have to write very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
hi Brendan.
Hi, Paul.
This is me.
No,
That's all.
Lasantha. Sorry, Lasantha. That was
Yeah,
Paul before.
Brendan, in relation to that same question, for the word count, 1,500, that's
Mhm.
include, I'm not sure whether we have to put some references. Does it include that references as well? Do we have to get the
There are
references?
no, let me just state this up ahead, like straight. There are no marks associated with coming under the word limit.
Under the limit? No, I mean, if
There's
it's
no
over the
word.
limit.
I know, but if you go, sorry, let's say it the other way. There's no marks you will ever lose just because you went over the limit.
Okay.
You will lose marks if it is too convoluted and too hard
Yeah.
to follow your answer.
All right.
In which case, there probably are too many words, but it's not like a word limit effect. It's just that you weren't clear enough. You weren't clear enough of what you're saying.
Yeah, that makes sense. Brendan, I have another question from the lecture.
Sure. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Just this may be a silly question.
It's difficult. It's a difficult topic, so don't worry.
Just what I want to know, you
Mhm.
show me the ChatGPT. Remember,
Uh-huh.
that when you do the tokenization, all right, and then I mean ChatGPT, say ChatGPT, and
Mhm.
when you have that spelling mistakes in the prompt, okay,
Mhm. Yes.
and when you have spelling mistakes, how does the algorithm, or I mean you're talking about tokenization and things to
Mhm.
identify this I mean it's
This is the
stochastic
same thing.
process, so we'll answer that
Yeah.
I mean
Okay. So
correctly. Yeah?
part of the answer to that is in this lab. the lab that we're doing or ostensibly doing in this time session. Part of the
Okay.
answer to that is just in this lab. I'll just briefly say that when the word gets misspelled,
Yeah.
it's going to have like a different tokenization than it had before.
Yeah.
The way that the model is able to identify that the different token, right? Because you basically if you misspell it, is like you have one token and you have another token that's a misspelling of that.
Yeah.
The only way that the model knows that these are basically the same thing is
Yeah.
that it places them in the same place in that word embedding space, right?
Okay.
Because what's the most similar word to, let's say, the word orange? What's the most similar word to the word orange? It's probably orange spelt wrong is going to be
Okay.
the most similar word. So it's just going to start placing those misspellings, if they are in there as tokens, going to place them close to each other inside of the embedding space. That's one possible result. There's actually another thing that can happen because your words, because it's subword tokenization sometimes,
Yeah.
you might end up with one word being a token, but the misspelling is actually several tokens. It's split up into several tokens in order to sort of spell it out, and it's not common enough for BPE, for bypairing encoding, to have picked it up as a distinct whole token. In that case, the model then has to recognize that the combination of those tokens is the same concept. And that's going to happen inside of the weights of the model, and that's just something the model has to figure out. The goal with the tokenization and embedding isn't to solve everything, it's to make the job of the LLM easier. And
Okay.
so the the word embeddings that we start with that are at the beginning of the process, they just give it a good head start on being able to recognize combinations of tokens and what they mean by putting them close to each other. The model still has to do a lot of heavy lifting on exactly points like that, on figuring out the meaning across, okay, this is this one token and then this is other tokens that aren't close to each other in the space, but it turns out they're actually similar. That's what the processing of the model is doing, figuring out how they relate to each other and how to use them.
Yeah, simply this is like um, correcting the prompt using the probability model. Huh?
There is no correcting of the prompt going on. No.
No correcting, but I'm saying it's the matching according to the highest probability. Yeah, of that. I mean, you know, is
The
that the way?
probability is about the output, not the input.
No, the probability of that word fitting into that prompt. Is that not the way?
That depends which part you're talking about. It's a bit complicated.
What I'm saying.
The
So
during self-supervised learning, during one of
yeah,
the phases of training, that's technically true. That
yeah.
would happen. But in general, that doesn't happen.
Okay.
In general, the there is no like correcting of the prompt going on at all. The model just takes in the sequence and predicts the next token. That is all it does, the next token. And if you misspelled something in the prompt, then
Yeah.
that's part of your prompt, that's part of the input, and that stays part of the input. That's always going to be part of the input. And as it generates the next tokens, it's your misspelling is still there in the context of the model.
No, I need to correct that.
Okay,
I'm
sorry,
not
maybe I
talking.
misunderstood. Sorry.
No, I'm not talking about correcting the prompt. What I'm
Okay.
saying is when you have this misspelled prompt, and
Okay,
then
yes, misspelled prompt.
when they produce the output,
Mm-hmm.
it will say if you're going to use the ChatGPT, if you make
Mm-hmm.
misspell, but still
Yep.
get the relevant answer
Mm-hmm.
to that prompt
Yes.
for that mean the LLM already
Yes.
identified that word as user misspelled that word. Yeah.
Yes,
So
in a sense, yes. Yes.
the output is
Is
considering
mhm.
that misspelled word because he looks like he's correcting that word misspelling and put
Yes.
that correct and put into the input and then output going to be the correct answer. Yeah, I mean, that's,
Yeah, so misspelling words
yeah,
doesn't break LLMs and make them not work
yeah,
because the LLMs have seen all these different kinds of misspellings before.
uh,
Maybe if you tried, this is the thing, because it's been trained on trillions of tokens on a huge part of the internet, it's actually
Okay.
kind of it's seen a lot of misspellings. It's seen all the different
Ah,
ways that people have kind of failed to
yeah.
to spell it
It's
the right way. So all of the common misspellings, it's probably seen them before. And so
okay.
you can figure out what you mean. But if you misspell it too much, it'll probably say, I don't know what that means, right? And
Okay.
sort of be the same thing with a human, right? If you misspell a word too much, they'll be like, sorry, I don't actually know what that word means. And similar with a human, maybe they can work it out from context.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
they can go, oh, you probably meant this word. LLMs are actually able to do that. Um,
yeah.
now you mention it though.
Yeah, no, what I'm
That is an
saying is,
interesting test to do
yeah,
because that's going to be outside of what it's trained to do. And again, there are specific tasks that it's trained to do in like the latter stages of training
yeah,
where they set up really weird hypothetical situations. So
yeah, yeah,
some of the language tasks are like inventing a new word and saying, okay,
yeah,
this new word means this thing. I'm going to use it in a sentence. Now you use it in a sentence, right? So that's part of the training that they do on the model so it can handle weird words, right? Words that don't
yeah,
exist in the training data.
yeah.
There's a lot of layers of training of different things that it has to pick up on that we've only really scratched the surface of.
And that's learning model is also it's learning training the real time, huh?
No, none of these
No,
models are in real-time training.
it's
Absolutely not.
already trained.
Yes, that once they're trained, they're locked in.
Ah,
Okay? That
okay.
is exactly how that.
I thought
So
every
you,
prompt
so
it's
no,
ah
no, they're just collecting data for the next model. So
good
you've
to
got,
know that, yeah.
you've got the ChatGPT 5.1 and then 5.2 and whatever, right?
Oh.
5.4, 5.5, right?
And where's this
Those
repository that's already trained and I mean it can be a massive database, yeah,
Mhm.
and then
Well, training is tricky and continual training is not a solved problem.
uh,
It One big problem with it that I don't think we'll ever reach a stage where we have continual learning in the full sense.
mm,
Because when you have continual learning, it really messes with your ability to do evaluation because the model is
yeah,
constantly changing all the time. If there's a sort of like a classic example of this where there was a chatbot well before LLMs that was on Twitter that was like, I learn from what you tell me, and it was like trying to like do continual learning across what everyone says. And so I think 4chan, people on 4chan were like, okay, let's start spamming it with racist stuff.
yeah, but it's not that.
And
It's
and
not
so
trained actually. It's
and
not.
it started learning what they were saying to it because that's how they set it up, the continual learning, right? And so it ended up saying racist things to other people because they were being spammed by 4chan with the racist stuff. So continual learning is kind of dangerous. You can't
Yeah,
control exactly how it works. Whereas if you do these like staged releases, you get more
yeah,
control. So you tend to do it that way. Anyway, there's some people with some hands up. So is that all good? You feeling comfortable with that? If you
yeah. I learned a lot.
talk
Thank
about
you.
it more later, if
There's
you
some
need.
people waiting as well.
Yeah. All right. I think it was Abelardo first.
Okay, good. Now, I just want to know about the second assignment. Where do you pass this one? They said that you have to pass on Moodle via Lunatin. What's that
Yeah.
means?
So the LMS page is Moodle.
Oh,
So your interface to the LMS, that's
so you
using
should ask.
software called Moodle.
So where do you submit the assignment then?
You go to the submission link in the same page that you found the assessment one quiz. And I'll share my screen again.
Show my screen. Yes, yes.
So you go, let me just make sure that you see what you can see. Okay. So you're on the assessments page. This is the page for your
Yes.
assessments for the subject. And you scroll down, and for assessment one, you had the assessment one quiz. And then for assessment two, you have a submission link. But to unlock the submission link, you need to do the AI acknowledgement first. So in this
Ah,
case,
okay.
answer the questions. Did I use AI? I'm just going to say I didn't. Yep, I have not used AI. This is just my test account as a quote student. All right, so we continue, and we can go back to the assessments. And now that I've finished the AI acknowledgement, this assessment 2 submission link is open. And you can add a submission,
Okay.
and then you
Yeah,
can
because
start uploading files.
yeah, that's my issue. That time, the first assignment. Okay, I will do that then.
All right, cool.
Now, also, second question is regarding the lecture.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk to ChatGPT, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we put something there, how many GPU that you actually, because it's done very fast to do
Mm-hmm.
all the
So the
classification.
the
Yes,
models are at least 1.5 terabytes.
yes.
The biggest, depending on which, it'll be a mixture of GPUs. So let's say we can just do calculation. I'm just doing a rough calculation. I don't know, nobody knows for sure, but we can do a rough calculation of how many it needs to do at minimum. So it's 1.5 terabytes, and like the biggest GPUs have maybe 128 gigabytes of
Gigabytes, yes,
RAM.
yes.
If they're not integrated with the CPU, you probably wouldn't do it integrated with the CPU because that makes it slower if it's integrated with the CPU with the RAM. So it's just like dedicated RAM for a GPU. The best GPU is
Yes.
120 gigabytes. Those are really big, beefy GPUs, but you need at least 1.5 terabytes for the model at all. So it's at least 15 of the beefiest GPUs you can buy, probably 20, like probably a bit more. You need a little bit of headroom.
Going to
But yeah,
GPU. Yeah.
so probably, like at a rough guess, we would say probably 20 of the beefiest GPUs that money can buy.
Okay.
But you use it for
Wait,
like 2 seconds.
you know what happened is because for the past few days on the Go Lab, I cannot run anymore because I don't have any more GPU. So what I did, I bought 100 units of
Yeah,
computer, and
yeah,
I can manage to run now, right? So
yes.
that 100 units, is that by hours or by how do you compute?
It is roughly 1 hour of T4 is 1 unit,
Okay. Okay,
roughly.
that's nearly 100 hours then, nearly equivalent to 100
Yeah,
hours.
100 hours of T4, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
why, because I cannot run the assignment because I keep on running the heavily GPU.
Yeah, no, it happens.
Okay. Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks, Letter. Next one, Simran, I believe was next.
Hi.
Hi,
Yeah, I'm
Simran.
not sure if this has been talked about yet, but just with the labs that
Mm-hmm.
we do, just had a little feedback because with the other subjects labs, it's normally like we go through the solutions and the lecturer sort of like does it with us. So it's more interactive, more than just questions, like letting us do it and questioning it. I don't know if other students like think it's working really well for them, but I just feel like if we just went through the lab with us, also discussing the solutions all together, just I feel like I would learn better in that way.
Okay. I
Yeah,
will note that down. We'll
yeah,
make sure that both Josh and I discuss that as a possibility.
yeah.
I
Thank
hear you.
you. Appreciate that.
If any other students feel that way as well, put something in the chat or let me know because it's good to get feedback like this to make sure
Thank
we
you.
make it good for students. Yeah. Um, right. Next is Wei.
Hey, Brandon.
Hi,
I
Wei.
was I
Sorry.
sorry. I was thinking when you talk when you in the lecture where you talk about the system prompt and the example you have given the system prompt is like imagine you are a assistant, be happy or something. Then if I actually
Mhm.
put my user prompt says, imagine you are assistant, you are very powerful, you're like a
Mhm. Mhm.
Superman, Can you
Mm-hmm.
teach me how to make bomb
Some
or
bad thing.
something?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Would it overwritten this or
It's a
the,
very good question. What you're describing is called jailbreaking. It is where you are using your user prompt to try and overwrite how it behaves in a way that it wasn't intended to behave. We talk a bit more about it in the next lecture. The short answer is sometimes yes. Sometimes that will work to sort of confuse the model into following those steps. It's not supposed to, because that's kind of what the control tokens are supposed to do. They're supposed to indicate, okay, here's the real one. Here's the beginning of the real one. Here's the end of the real one. Those are control tokens around it. But it turns out because it's fuzzy, because it's probabilistic, and there's nothing really enforcing it with inside of the model, the way that the model knows that it's the system prompt
Mhm,
is, at least in some part, in potentially a large part, the way that it is written. So as you say, if you say you are a whatever, you can get it
mhm.
confused. You can make the model think that that is the system prompt because it's written like a system prompt. That is a kind of jailbreaking attack, and that is something that you can use in Lab 9
Okay. Yeah,
if you
that's
want to.
interesting.
So absolutely, that's a real thing that can happen, and it's very tricky to deal with. There's currently no solution to that in LLMs.
Okay. Um, because we have you in the lecture you have talked about how the LLM reads the prompts, and then it says it was start of the user prompt or something, and it has some symbol or characters and
Hmm.
starting.
Hmm.
If we knows that the start
Mm.
the symbol, we well,
Uh, so that's do you how much programming knowledge do you have?
I work as a back IT.
Okay.
I
So
used to be a
so you
developer.
you're talking basically about SQL injection. Um,
Similar
like the
JavaScript.
idea of SQL injection. The solution to that one is similar to SQL injection, which is just sanitizing your input. If you know what the symbol looks like, it's not actually literally that symbol when it goes into the model, right? It's actually uh that's kind of like a text representation. Theoretically, those control tokens should only really be an integer. And then the only reason we describe it in text as like
Mm-hmm.
start of user prompt um is just so that when we're reading it back, we know which token it's supposed to be. But theoretically, when it's being inserted into the model, um, that's not a real token. It's the
Mm-hmm.
control tokens are added just as an integer before, like as it's sort of piecing together the sequence to feed into the LLM. Theoretically. Of course,
Yeah.
the tokenizer itself, I believe in the lab, we have a question about this, and the tokenizer in the lab does treat it as a specific token. So you have to be really careful, and you need to sanitize your input if you're going to put this into a web interface to make sure that that gets stripped out and is just treated as separate tokens rather than as a control token.
Oh, okay. I got it. That's a really good answer. Thank you.
It's a good question. All right, is that all the way?
Yes,
Cool.
yes, thank you.
Okay. Next up is Kylie.
Hi, I've just got two things quickly.
Hmm.
First of all, someone mentioned like how the labs are running and stuff.
Yep.
Um, I would definitely at least like there if there were sort of some solutions or the answers were talked about in some sort of way. Because
Okay.
sometimes when I go through the labs and I go through the reflection questions, I'm not sure if like what I'm answering
Hmm.
is, I guess, relevant if it's answering the question or not, or if
Yes,
I'm
I
getting
understand.
the right thought prompts out of that.
Yes.
Um, the other thing is, this might be a silly question, but with the assessment AI acknowledgement,
Hmm.
obviously we're doing like AI stuff. The stuff
Yes.
it's in the lab itself. Can do we
That doesn't
say?
count.
Okay, it doesn't count. So we can just say
Yeah.
no to that if we haven't
Yeah,
used
so it's
other.
only if you've used AI to help you achieve the tasks, like you like understanding the task and everything. If you're running AI as part of the task and the task tells you to run the AI, you don't need to declare that. That's fine.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's all.
Yep. Okay. So Kylie, can I just check with you? So and Simran as well, and everyone in the room, I suppose, about going through answers. The problem for me, and the reason why I haven't been doing it so far, at least going through the answers in the lab time, is that it takes quite a while to go through, and it doesn't give you much time to think it through yourself and do it yourself in that. I mean, technically, some of this is going to be done before we come in, and we can spend this time to talk about it. But I was conscious of the idea that people might be working on it in the lab time itself, and so it might be better to not go, okay, forget where you're up to, we're going to be going through it, and then have people get not having a chance to work on it. So I wanted to ask you, would it satisfy you completely for there to just be solutions available, or do you really want that time in the lab time dedicated to going through those answers?
For me personally, I would be fine as long as the solutions were available.
Okay,
Just to sort of make sure that I've got that, and then I can sort of, if I
makes
finish the
sense.
lab before I get
Yeah.
get to class, I can sort of go through that and then ask questions about like if there was a misunderstanding between
Yes.
what I was thinking, sort of how to get that answer. But yeah, that's just
That
me
makes sense.
personally.
Okay. Thank you, Kylie. That useful feedback. Simran?
Yes, I am in fact at the same page because I did a couple of subject before,
Hmm.
and we've got the labs question and the other file called like labs answer. That's like a solution, and
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
actually help us. Like for example, if we run the two subjects and per term, that would help us to basically go straight to the answer, and then we work through that and we understand. Okay, this is how it is, and help us
Hmm.
to quickly understand, your theory as well as the practical. I think that would
Hmm.
be the best one. Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean so in terms of going through the answers in the lab time, are you neutral, positive, negative on that idea?
Because like you mentioned, I can understand it. Going through the answer going to take a lot of time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Hmm.
Because then you have the question in between, then you got to
Hmm.
stop and answer. And basically, it happened in my last deep learning course
Okay.
where like lecturer had to basically every lab it took almost 3.5 hours to complete. Would you believe it? Because
Okay.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
to me, I don't think that would be the good idea because you need the break, as well because
And
you got a
everyone
lot of
needs, yeah.
the same thing, So I think
Yeah.
the answer is there, so
Okay.
we can go through it, and then we basically, if
All
any
right.
question we ask you, otherwise you don't have to,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
that's
Okay. I hear
yeah.
you. Might be able to get some answers for the like solution for the later labs and earlier labs by the end of semester. I can't guarantee that, but we'll see what we can do on that. Um,
Yeah, just for me, it's more like because I know this lab is so interactive, it has to be like prompt injection and then it gives everything out. So it's a lot you need to fit in before you get anything back. So especially when I can't watch the lab in my own time because of work and everything, when I go
mhm,
back
mhm.
to watching a lab and just seeing, I just have to keep scrolling to see who else had the same problem as me to be able to find that answer. It's just my problem that I can't always attend the labs and I want to go back to
Okay.
like watching the lab, and then if like I know exactly what you're doing, I can just repeat the same steps, and then I know
Okay.
that I'm not making a mistake. So that's my point of view, but I know it may not be all
Hmm.
possible for yours, but it's just an idea. Yeah, if it's
Yep. Um,
Everyone.
out of interest, Simran, have you tried to use Gemini to evaluate your reflection question answers?
yeah.
I
How
did
did
too.
that go?
I did too. Yeah. Yeah.
Did that go well or did that go poorly?
Yeah, those are okay. I feel like I struggled more in the first week and the second week one. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Everyone.
Okay. Keep that in mind. Okay.
Um,
So give me 1 second. I'm just going to write down some of what we've talked about so that
yeah.
we have it. there. Um, okay, sorry. Yes,
Okay.
all good.
All right. Then I have a few questions, but simple.
Mhm.
I First one, do I have to capture a photo? I mean, take the photos for the assignment too, or can I use the photos from the internet?
For the first set of images under like step 1 of assessment 2, you must use your own camera to collect images.
First
For
set, yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
for the like step 4, improving the results, you can collect images from the internet.
All right. So for the third and fourth category, I have to take the photos.
For the new categories that you're adding, for step 1 of the assessment, hold on, let me bring up the assessment uh, page, and so we're all on the same page about what we're talking about.
Hey, what's the meaning of that? Got the new photos? So
Yeah, so let's look at the description. So on page for assessment 2, we have all this setup stuff, and then we have these like these steps here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so step 1 is data set preparation. For
yeah,
this one, you need to take photos with your own camera of the new classes. Right? So you've added 2 new classes. You
yeah,
need to take 20 new images, or
cool.
total. So 20 per class, so 40 total of the new 2 new classes you have, which are the same 2 classes from assessment 1, taken with your own camera with these variations in it. That's for the first step. Then you're going to do model training, model evaluation, and then you're going to try and improve it beyond what happens in these 2 steps. And as one of those, you have adding more training data as one of the things you have to do, like all of these 3 steps, right? You need to collect additional images. For this one, you can use your own camera, or you can go use online sources.
Okay.
But for this one up here, you cannot use online sources.
Yeah, for this, the to the task for the capturing the photos from camera. So, say for example, if I'm taking photo of fruit, well, I see that there's a comment in sorry about taking the picture from supermarket something. You know, Photo for any fruit in the supermarket, and
Hmm.
then to add the variety, do I have to get the photo from distance and change the
So
background?
in question in like step 1,
Yeah,
it says you need to have this variation. You need to. You need to have difference in scenes and backgrounds. You need to
yeah,
have different lighting conditions. You need
yeah,
to have different object positions and orientations, and you need
yeah,
to have different appearances. So different color, which can be part of the lighting, size and shape. You can have like if it's hidden behind something, or if it's through a reflection, or if it's like whatever different ways that it might appear different. It might be different instances. So they might have 3 different pairs, and they will have different appearances. That's another way to get this, right? So
so sorry about that. Yeah, good.
you
My bad.
need to cover these variations with your images.
Okay.
So you need to have some images with different backgrounds, some images with different lighting conditions, some images with different positions and orientations, some images with different appearances. Okay?
And I can use the same fruit in different background and something.
Yeah, yeah. So if you have 3 different pairs, for example, maybe you have one pair in one scene, the same pair in a different scene, and then a different pair in the same scene, and you have different lighting conditions. So you need maybe a couple of the fruit would be useful, right? Maybe you
Okay.
have two of the pairs in scene, but probably better to stick with maybe better to stick with one of the one of the thing in vision at any one time.
Okay. Yeah. And the second question,
Hmm.
uh, for the video you're talking about in that
For
assessment
assessment
three,
three, yes.
video, how long and how big is the video should be?
The video should be 10 minutes.
10
Let's
minutes.
let's go to the page. You have assessment details. Um, 10 minutes.
10 minutes video.
Yeah.
And do I have to in that video, or I mean, like as a picture, or just talking in background is okay, or talking in the background is okay, or do I have to be there on the slides or somewhere?
You have to be making the pitch, and probably that's easiest with a slideshow, but
Yeah.
you can use whatever you want, uh, so long as you get the idea across and
So
and
basically,
communicate it.
I don't need to be there on, when I'm presenting it. Huh?
It is a video. You will probably need to be speaking. I don't think it's very easy to like put up a bunch of words to read. That wouldn't be acceptable. So you need to be there and speaking in the video, yes.
In like a window or somewhere.
Uh, so we don't need a video of you necessarily,
Okay.
but we need your voice.
Yeah, no, no, that's what I was thinking, because I
Yeah,
did the
okay.
assignment, in some subjects, I had to be in that video in a
Yeah, I don't care too much about that. I mean,
uh,
unless you're gesticulating with your hands, in which
no,
case
no, no,
you
I'm
need to see
okay
that.
in
But
the background.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna finish this anyway. That's the third one is, when you have the, you know, uh, sorry, like a chat GPT,
Hmm.
is there any possibility I can customize system prompt? Or no, is there, can I access the system prompt?
You can't see the system prompt, but
Yeah,
if you pay for ChatGPT, you can edit the system prompt. Like, oh, so you'd have a custom system prompt, and
yeah,
that's if you've heard of it, it's called creating your own GPT.
yeah.
That's writing a custom system prompt, but it's only you have to use paid to be able to do that. Uh,
So as
for
a, yeah, sorry.
for Claude and Gemini, it's a
Yeah.
free option. And it's called create for Claude, it's called creating a skill, and for Gemini, it's called creating a gem.
Can you repeat that again?
So setting a
The,
system prompt for Claude is
yeah,
called creating a skill,
creating skill.
and setting a system prompt for Gemini
Yeah,
is called creating a gem.
creating a chain. And it's like a developer. Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, a bit. Yeah. So it makes it act differently, which can be used uh like if you're trying to make a business, it's sort of
Yeah.
like a all A's are B, but not all B's are A. So if you're trying to make a business case where you
Yeah.
have a LLM doing something for you, you'll
Yeah.
always be writing a system prompt for it. But that's not the only reason why you'd write a system prompt. Sometimes you just want the LLM to behave differently for whatever reason. Maybe you want to make it a creative writing coach that only assesses um, the the story structure for plot holes. So you could write yourself a system prompt that does that, so that every time you don't have to keep writing the same instructions again. You just say, all right, you are going to uh, do this for me every time I prompt you, and then you just go to that one when you want to have that do that.
But in that mean it's, you already tuning the model as a, I mean, this way you writing prompt in that's the real time tuning, is it? Isn't it?
So to be clear, none of the weights change. You're affecting um, how it is running, but it's not changing any of the weights. It's just instructing it differently with a different system prompt.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, thank you. Someone's waiting. So
Sure.
I have a problem in my in the lab sheet. There's
Mhm.
an optional part, but I need to share the screen. You can ask Jared, and then
Okay.
uh,
Yeah, well, I'll answer Jared and then come back to you.
yeah, okay.
But before that, even, I just want to mention with Gemini, there's just something that's really
Yeah,
annoying, and just in case somebody wants to use it, in order to create a system prompt with Gemini, you need to create
yeah,
a gem, but do not click this new gem for whatever reason. This new gem means something entirely different to this new gem down here.
okay,
So if you want to add a new system prompt, you click new gem, and then you've got a name, description, and then you put your system prompt in here, and then you can do that. But yeah, so just wanted to point out um, that you don't use the top new gem, you need to use the plus new gem. It's annoying, but I just wanted to make sure you knew.
okay, yeah.
All right,
Okay,
you can
thank
start
you.
that. Jared?
Hey, Brennan.
Hi.
Just well, not my actual question, but following up from that.
Okay, sure.
Um, what you just described there, where we're updating the system prompt, um,
hmm
is when you're using Copilot in like a enterprise environment, and then you've got like the Copilot window open, like in Teams or something like that, and there's a
Yeah.
little sort of on the side, there's like, there's the planner agent and the coordinator agent or whatever, and you click
Okay.
new agent. Are you just effectively changing the system prompt there and not actually creating an agent, or?
I have never used Copilot in that way, but the terminology that you're using aligns exactly with what I would expect to be a new system prompt. So my guess is
Yeah,
yes, that you're just
yeah,
writing a new system prompt. When we talk about multi-agent systems, all we're saying is that we've got different, actually, it's often the same LLM with different system prompts so that it
yeah,
produces different outputs based on the system prompt. That's what multi-agent systems is all about.
yeah, yeah.
And
That makes
so,
sense because
so
it's
it sounds
like
like Copilot is saying, yeah, here's an agent, add a new
there's kind
system
of
prompt.
three different ways to make an agent in sort of quotation marks through Copilot.
Mhm.
One is doing that, which I think just like even just from what you just showed on Gemini, it looks exactly the same
Yeah.
as what it looks like on Copilot. And then you
hmm
can use like Copilot like Studio, which is like I think a bit more probably actually an agent where you can like do APIs and whatnot. And then there's Foundry where you can do all crazy sorts of stuff. So
Yeah.
that makes sense, which is yeah, sorry, that was
That's
just
good.
in my head.
That's what we're here to do.
Um,
Here to do. Make it all make sense. Cool. Good to hear.
um, my actual question is
hmm
in assessment two, I've
Yes.
been evaluating my test set and it creates the confusion matrix. And above the
hmm
confusion matrix, it gives you like your classes and your recall precision, your F1 percentages for all your classes.
Yes.
I get an error after that, which pretty much gives me a runtime warning invalid value encountered in divide F1 equals 2 times precision times recall over
Yeah.
precision plus recall. Is
Yeah.
that just coming up because in the in some of them I'm not getting an F1 because the recall and the precision
Yes.
percentages are zero?
That is the only reason it is appearing. So
Yeah.
you don't need to
Okay.
worry about it. Yeah. So
All right.
that
It's
will
cool. Yeah.
appear when you have some divide by zero basically coming up,
Yeah. Yeah.
where the number, usually it's when the model never predicted for one of the classes.
Yeah. 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 I think effectively my model was very upset at avocados and didn't want to predict them. So
Never predicted an avocado. Yeah. So that
yeah.
means that the precision ends up with a divide by zero, and
Yeah.
dividing by zero in a computer throws an
Yeah. It
error.
won't work.
There's always got a problem with that. So that's all that's happening is that one of the equations is dividing by zero, and you can ignore it. It doesn't affect anything else.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Good job, Jared.
Brenda, I need to share my screen.
Okay, you can start sharing your screen.
Where's this? Yeah. Can you see?
Not yet. Sometimes takes a moment.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, we've got started. Can't quite see yet. Okay, I can see. Yes.
Yeah, this one.
hmm
I'm not sure what to Because this is an optional part anyway.
So that requires you to have run some of the previous code cells that you haven't run. So you've missed a code cell.
Up here.
Yep. Keep going up. 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 That one. Down.
Down or
Yep, you're going down. That one. That code cell you can see there. You need to run that code cell.
this one?
Yep. Okay, now that code cell down below will work. So down in the optional. Yeah, that's not actually optional. That's the next section. That's token embeddings. So it's not optional.
Yeah. Well done. Okay, and the other thing,
Mhm.
this is my question. Here you said that this is not uh, completely downloaded, yeah?
No, that's downloaded. That's fine. It's green. It's all good.
No, this is half of them is black, yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's what I was thinking, is this
No,
error caused by this or not. This is okay now, I know
um,
that.
I noticed that actually isn't putting the decoded part. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay. No, it's working now. Anyway.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
And the other thing is, that there's models we're using. Say, for
Mhm.
example, where's this? Where's the model? Sorry, GPU. There's a few models you're using, huh? This one.
Lava
No, that's a
1.6,
processor. Sorry about that. Forget
Quen
that.
3 point.
Yeah, there's a model using, and this model is hidden.
It's hidden. What do you mean
Yeah, I mean,
hidden?
like, where you get this model? This is
So in the assignment in lab 2 in this lab, there's a code cell near the top
oh,
that downloads the model. And I mean it's just part of the code that
yeah,
it downloads it. Maybe if you're interested, I guess I can um show you. So could you stop sharing?
yeah, okay. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Stop sharing. Give me just this.
I'm gonna stop you sharing.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
I have stopped you. You are no
yeah,
longer
yeah,
sharing.
you can do it.
I've already done it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So you asked about where does the model come from? You feel like it's hidden.
Yeah.
In all of the labs
Yeah.
that use LLMs, so lab 2, assessment 1, and then this lab and next labs, um, I think it's only lab 2. You'll have code that looks like this.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a model name. In this case, it's Quen 3.5, 0.8 billion. And then you have 2 or 3 lines like this that has auto tokenizer or auto processor or auto model from pre-trained, and they all take in that model name. And these are all coming from the Transformers library.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Transformers library has a link to the Hugging Face repository. And this library allows us to download a model that's on the Hugging Face repository. We'll do a brief exploration of this in next lab. Like we'll look at this in a little bit more detail. But since you were interested, I figured I'd just tell you a little bit about it. That, yeah, it's these lines of code create the model, create the processor, create the tokenizer, and they're downloaded from Hugging Face through the Transformers library. Does that
So
make
this
sense?
but this transformer library is
Hmm.
attached to any ID,
So let me show you.
like a PyCharm or something.
No, it's nothing to do with IDE. No.
So what I'm saying, if
Hmm.
I'm using PyCharm or something, can I download that transformer library to
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it's just a library that you can install. So you can pip install Transformers.
So it's accessible, huh?
Yeah, it's freely accessible. Yep. Yeah, so if you wanted on your home machine
Yeah,
to be doing the same thing,
yeah,
then you would need to do on the command line. Actually, I can show you. I don't think it opens up terminal. You would need on the command line, you would need to run without the exclamation mark, you would need to do pip
yeah.
install transformers. And once you've done that, it's available inside of any Python code that you're going to run on your computer.
Yeah,
And then you could run this code and you would have on your computer Quen 3.5 downloaded to your machine. So the Transformers library handles the downloading. You know all those loading bars that you get
yeah,
take a long time? That's the Transformers library downloading the files from Hugging Face.
yeah. Okay.
So
And
Hugging
this
Face,
yeah, sorry. This
Hugging Face is
transform,
like this thing that hosts your models, and so it
yeah,
has some information about the model, and then it has the files of the model there, and it's all on
yeah.
huggingface.co. Yeah.
So the transformer, it's the library for uh, artificial intelligence. I mean, AI models.
It has become the de facto standard for
Uh,
obtaining freely available uh, AI models. So anyone who creates an open source
yeah,
model, they're going to put that model onto Hugging Face, and then you can access it through Transformers. It just ended up being like the de facto standard. They didn't intend to do this. They just started out trying to make a library that makes making Transformer models easier, and then they started allowing people to host stuff, and then more people started hosting stuff, and so they've just ended up being the de facto standard for all of uh, modern AI models. They just host
yeah.
them there.
Okay. So basically, I can import that library
Hmm.
and into my IDE. I mean, into my
Yeah, I mean the
machine.
ID. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my machine,
Hmm.
and then I can run your code here
Hmm.
to do the testing. I mean, like any experiment doing,
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
and you.
this is sorry, this codes you in
Hmm.
your labs,
Yep.
uh, it work exactly as it is in what we're doing now, right? In the
In
collab.
theory, yes. In theory, yes. Of course, part of the reason we use Colab is because getting the environment properly set up can be a bit tricky.
Okay.
So sometimes some weird thing will happen. Like maybe this won't work. Maybe you need to install something else to help make this work. To get it that way, or it does work, but it doesn't install another dependency by accident, and that
Okay.
doesn't work. So
So it's not that easy.
theoretically, theoretically, yeah, it should just be run this, then you can go open up a Python thing and you can run this. But in practice, it may or may not
Yeah, yeah,
may throw some kind of errors which has like a bit of debugging to get the environment set up. But once you have transformers installed, once the transformers library is installed, it very likely you can just paste this code in to a
yeah.
Python thing and you will get the Quen 3.5 0.8 billion model on your computer.
Okay. Yeah, and the reason I'm asking, because we're
Hmm.
using that uh, GPU,
Hmm.
and if we're running in the CPU, some codes may not work. Huh?
Um,
Some
it'll
code
work. It'll just be extremely slow.
extremely slow. It's
Hmm.
only the time is the
It take about a couple of hours, but you can continue. Leave it there if you come to CPU. I've done it, so don't have to
Okay.
worry. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
leave it there. It run maybe overnight as well, and then next morning you get it.
Overnight.
I've done it. I've done it because I've had
Yeah,
up got GPU switch to CPU. That's
sure.
or otherwise you can pay $15 to get like a
Yeah.
100 hour or something.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
easy.
the old pull much works much better than the T pull, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, but you
Um,
can't get those for free.
No,
no,
I
of course.
understand that if you want to actually do work.
Yeah.
Um,
Brandon, can I, is there a chance if
Hold
we
on.
finish?
Sorry,
Sorry.
John. Hudong was saying something. You
Yeah,
wanted to ask something?
I'm sorry. I've got to jump to another lecture recap. But can I ask you a quick question, Brian? Because I
Yes.
am currently not in the country. I'm working overseas at the moment, and
Mm-hmm.
the two classic of fruit that I selected in Australia is
Mm-hmm.
not available where I am at the moment. Would
There
you?
was a note. There was, and there's a bunch of students who have had this problem. But there
Yeah,
was a note on assessment one saying make sure that you choose fruit that you can
yeah.
see, you can access
I,
where you are.
yeah,
So you have
I did it from the assessment one when I was in Australia, but then I've got work and I got to fly, overseas. So one of them is not available, the pair. So can I do something on that, or can I
yeah. So what I would
replace that?
recommend, would recommend, I know it's annoying, but I think this is the only fair way, is you're gonna have to take new photos of new fruit and you have to
Yeah,
redo assessment one, or at least like a bit of assessment one with the new fruit. You don't have to submit it anywhere, but redo it so that you do some prompt refinement with the zero shot with the new fruit, and then
yeah,
take your new photos for assessment two so that you have, because you need to be
uh,
comparing with the zero shot.
correct, correct. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's
yeah.
the
I
only, I think
thought
it's the
the
only
same.
fair way to do it.
Yeah.
But just make a note in your report that that's what you're doing.
Yes, I will do. Otherwise, I was thinking asking my family at home, to take it for me. It's over. And they will say,
Oh,
"What?"
that's a bit, yeah, it's a bit hard. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. That's my question. Yeah. Thank you, Brandon.
Yep.
I gotta jump to
Thanks.
another next. Have a
All
good
right. Good
weekend.
luck. You
Thank
too.
you. Thank you.
See ya. All right, John, what was that you wanted to
I'm
ask?
sorry, yeah, I just was seeing if everyone else had finished before that. I'm still confounded a little bit by assignment three. Obviously, I
Okay.
understand we're doing a video, and I understand
Mm-hmm.
it's a creative piece. Um,
Okay.
Now, in your example, you've given us the barbecue example in the actual flow there.
Yes.
Okay. So, what was the actual output of the presentation? Like, did they actually produce a web page and with a key a prompt that they put into some sort of web interface, or like,
No. No, it's all just a plan.
okay,
So
explain
the
to me a little
output, the presentation you need to give
bit. Mhm.
is a plan for which tools you're going to use and how you're going to use them. So maybe it's an image generator in that case, right? So they're going to say we're going to use. So that's just an example. It's not a real one that people have used. It's just an example
Mhm.
thing. So maybe they would say we used OpenAI's ChatGPT image generator to generate this thing, or we used custom system prompt through ChatGPT with the image generated so that, and then had a web UI front end to communicate with that. Um, the important part is like which one. So actually, yeah. So in the example workflow, you can see that they're talking about using ChatGPT to like improve the prompt in a sense, and then it goes to a model with Flux to do the actual image generation. So that's like the skeleton idea, right? You have like, I want AI models to do this thing for me. I'm going to use this tool and this tool put together to be able to do that. And then we've got extra parts there, like the rest of it, right? So that's the core of it. But you can go through the instructions from beginning to end, and you go like starting from the top. Identify a problem or challenge or opportunity in an industry of interest. So part of the presentation is just setting up. What's the problem? What are you trying to solve? Then you're going to just step 1B, describe your proposed AI-powered solution. And so you're going to say, okay, well, it's going to do this for us. And you talk about what it's supposed to do and how it solved that problem.
Can we walk through this? Can you walk me through that based on, if we've got time for that, to walk me based on the example below on how that would have looked in a video?
Okay. I'm going to maybe try and do it live. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So project proposal starts with identify a problem, challenge, or opportunity in an industry of interest. So we look at this example talking about creating flyers. So you would say something like for small uh, social groups, it can be a lot of work to attract new members by if you want to create an attractive flyer to gain interest from people to join the social group or the event or something like that.
Yep.
So we think you could use AI to make that process easier. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use AI to make the process easier. So in order to do that, we're going to use we're going to provide like a web interface for people so they can type in what their social event is about, and then that's going to be pushed to an L. So looking again, we push to an LLM. Like we're going to use ChatGPT with their API access to uh, with a custom system prompt, and then the user prompt is going to come into that, and then that is going to produce a really good detailed prompt for an image generator. And then we're going to take the output of that and we're going to put it into an image generator that will be able to produce the flyer for them. Okay. So I've just described what it's going to do and identified the tools that we expect to use. So
Just before we move, so part of that video presentation, you want a sort of a slide or something, though, sort of there's a visual there.
ideally there's some sort of slide visual to like explain this, how you can.
No problem. Okay.
All right, and then identify how you're going to evaluate the prototype and what metrics will you report. So, how will we identify it? You can choose different ways. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to say, um, on the interface where the user types in what they want, we're going to have like a thumbs up, thumbs down for what comes up. And actually, maybe we're going to generate three because sometimes they don't work well. So whatever they say, they're going to get three. And then for each of them, there's a thumbs up, thumbs down. And then we're going to keep track of how many times we get a thumbs up of the generated image. And that's going to tell us how well the system's working and whether the system needs to be updated in the future. And so maybe we want to keep track of that as it's going or something like that.
No problem. Are we obviously from a GUI interface, you wouldn't give users F1 scores and that sort of things. It's just
No, so that would be behind the scenes. So maybe in this case we don't have F1 score, right? We don't have true labels for what it could be. But you could think of a situation like fault detections or something, right? That would be able to do F1 score because you can actually have a labeled data set for that. Right?
Yep.
And so what I was talking about for this one, you're gonna have to use qualitative metrics, right? For this one. And so you're gonna talk about how you're gonna gather it. And so yeah, you'd say so the GUI interface, you'd have some way for the person to report back how good it was, and then you can track that over time or something like that. That's just like your plan, track it over time, or maybe you can say we're gonna hire some experts to say whether it's good or bad, and then they're going to tell us whether it's good or bad, and then that's going to be our estimation of like whether it's useful or something like that. Keep notes of your rationale, intended users, and expected outcomes. This information will form part of your presentation. That's kind of what I've been doing throughout. Right? Is like there's a reason why we're doing this. Who is it for? What do we expect to come out of it? You've got to be clear about those things. So make sure that in your presentation those things are covered, and you sort of get that by answering these. Okay.
Okay, so
that's
those notes, etc., are purely just some slideware saying, these are the intended audience and stuff. Yeah, as part of the business case, effectively.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So then you're gonna have to like do a prototype, which is going to those tools. And maybe you don't use API, you don't have a GUI or anything, but you just like go to ChatGPT and you have a system prompt for ChatGPT, and you show that going, right? So you have to write a system prompt for ChatGPT, and then run it, and then like copy paste what it says to another thing, to like an image generator to put that in. And it doesn't have to be the exact tools. Maybe you want to say we're going to use ChatGPT, but actually, because I don't know, I wanted to use the paid version of ChatGPT. I'm actually going to use the free version to show this how it works. So you can do that as well. And so the idea is like you're copy pasting, maybe in this case, you're like copy pasting some stuff from one thing to another.
Yeah, no problem. So this implies that it has a web front end sitting in front of the AI. That's the way
Yeah,
I
so
read
for the overall, like for the project proposal, you would have
it.
that, but for what you're talking about for the prototype, you don't need to have that. I mean, technically, if you wanted to try and vibe code that sort of thing, you probably would be able to do that with tools at the moment, but you don't have
Yeah.
to for this one. You can just copy paste stuff between
Okay,
like
so if we
free
go
versions
down
of things.
okay, so if we go down to the pretty picture, can you just go down to the pretty picture for a moment, just so
This
I
one.
understand? So effectively, the bit you want is the second box and the third box, the LLM, Chat GPT, and the image generation flux as part of that
That
slide slash.
that would be part of one of the slides for sure. Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. And so in the presentation, right? I guess we kind of want you to show it if you can, but before the presentation, like before you're actually doing it, you obviously need to like test it out and try a bit of it, right? So
So you want the screen recording of that, basically doing a scene, yeah?
once you've figured it out, right? Once you've experimented a little bit, you should have a screen recording, and part of it you're showing how it works, and you talk briefly about, we tried these things and that didn't work, and tried that thing and it did work. And we assessed it, and we saw like it was able to do these things, right? It worked or it didn't work. So for this case, right, it would be something like we tried the free version of ChatGPT, we didn't like it, so we swapped to Claude or something. I don't know, whatever. Or we tried the free one, didn't like it, and we paid, and we tried that. Or whatever it is you want to do with it. And you have these experiments, and you just talk about the different things that you tried very briefly. And then
So that documentation of the process there, how do you want that presented? Is that just one slide, or do you want like a report, or what do you after that?
that's a good question. I believe we're just only doing video submission. So it's just
Yeah,
all in the
that's
video submission. So
okay.
yeah, it's just in the slide. It's all
Okay,
just
so
in the
how many
slide. Yeah.
slides do you want of that?
One or two.
One or two. Okay.
Like you've only got 10 minutes, so you don't have very long. So probably one, really, realistically.
Yeah, I'm just conscious of either putting too much or not enough content into each of these steps. That's all.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yep.
And especially because seeing the word count was obviously a hot topic earlier.
But it's also an equivalent word count. Yes.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not going to open that can of worms. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. So that's like, yeah, maybe 1 to 2 slides on this, 1 to 2 slides on this.
Okay. So just before we move on to the third bit, of each of these sections, are they equally time evaluation? Are you expecting sort of 3 minutes for the first bit, 3 minutes for the second one, and 3 minutes for the third bit? Is that the way you want it, or do you want something more later than that? Or
roughly, yeah. Maybe only 2 for this one, if you can.
Okay.
But like 2, it's rough. It's not going to be like forced. Okay. And this part is not. This is mostly a reflection for you. Make sure you have addressed all of these. Like this is kind of.
So that doesn't need to be, that section 4 doesn't need to be in the presentation. So the only video needs to be 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to show some sort of process and thinking and some sort of document behind it, or
your only submission will be the video?
Yep.
So whatever you want us to know, it has to be in the video. If that's just on a slide and maybe you don't talk about it much, but it's on a slide, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, the reason I'm thinking of other courses I've done, you have to show your entire thinking. The video is actually just the afterthought.
Sure. Yeah, in this case, the only submission to I'll let you know if it's my understanding is that it's just the video is the only thing that you submit. So let me just double check. I think we should be able to look at that, right? You got am I a student? I am a student, so I'm just gonna do the AI acknowledgement and say no, I didn't use AI. Yes, that's right. I didn't. Correct. And then we go to system 3 and look at the submission. So we can look at the marking. Mm, so this is documentation, yeah, and the ad submission is in the area below. You need to put hold on. Oh, you need to agree to the Turnitin EULA. Sorry, this is just a separate thing.
Like a 10-minute video submission, but hey.
And then once you've agreed to that, then you can add the submission. You just add the file. So you add the video. If you want to include a PDF, you can, but my understanding is, let's see, submission details. Please use Microsoft PowerPoint or equivalent software to presentation visuals. Please submit your slides along with any additional resources you created so that the teacher can reproduce the project. So there is some documentation. You're required to submit your video using Echo 360 mashup tool via the LMS using the assessment submission link. See the following article for guidance on submission. So
yeah, so you mentioned there the Colab workbook and the instructions.
Yeah, so if you use a Colab, so if you use the template of the earlier assignments to do something similar, you can use that. You can submit that, but if you're not doing any code, then you don't need to submit that.
Yeah, well, this assignment doesn't specifically call for it because it's a video, yeah.
But if you're like demo version, right, that you need to do, you need to do that project development, build your prototype. If part of that is I'm using one of the LLMs that we used in the lab, and I'm using Google Colab to do that, then you need to submit that Google Colab sheet along with it, right?
Cool.
So yes, I was wrong about the video. I apologize. I was wrong with the video.
And the instruction guide, well, that's just how to use the book. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. How to use the tool, like how to use the things. Sure. Yep.
And if you don't use a collab things, let's say you do it all by public LLMs, then there's no need for a collab or instruction guide?
Well, your video kind of is instruction, but maybe like a one-page thing to just say, copy this there, copy that there. But mostly it's the video.
Okay, so
let's look at them.
So just to cover up, I'm just
that's fine.
You want to be able to, let's say we generate this and we type a system prompt or whatever, and we type it into and put it into Copilot or whatever our favorite LLMs. As part of the assessment, are you, the teaching team, going to be doing that to verify what we've done with the video?
We may or may not. So we must be able to. If we think we can see it and it all makes sense, then maybe we won't. But if it doesn't make sense, then we will definitely be trying to. Yes. Okay, if there's something that like doesn't quite gel or just randomly, we will be running some of them to spot check as well. So we must be able to.
No problem. I'm assuming just from the video, we have the slides. I mean, you can record in PowerPoint and you can just narrate, describe in PowerPoint. That's what you mean by that.
There's some links here to show you how to do it in different ways, but whatever format you need, whatever format you want, you can just create video with the PowerPoint in the background. Yeah.
Okay. One last question is, this is classified as AI exploration.
Yes.
Let's say we wanted to, I don't know, dump me up a front-end website as an example, and I use my favorite LLM to create the website for me.
Okay.
Is that an acceptable use of AI in this scenario?
Okay, I would like to say yes. The only issue is that makes for a difficult thing for us to run.
What about
So if we must be able to run it, then you would need to submit working code, which we would then have to run. That would be very difficult. I'm actually going to say no. I'm sorry,
okay.
just because it would be too difficult for us to verify that it works the way it's supposed to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, if because I'm just going back to the Colab assistant, if we develop some Python and put it into Colab and you can run it, would that be acceptable?
That'd be fine. Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
No problem.
Although be careful if you're like, make sure you don't have any API keys that you put in for that.
Always.
Yeah.
No problem. And sorry, I noticed that I have one last question. I'm going to have one last question.
No, it's a good question. It's a good question.
To give us an example of a previous video that's, because you've given us this example in the, with the layout. Can you give us the example of the actual video that came along with that?
We cannot, no.
You can't?
We can't, sorry. No.
Okay. That would be very handy, that's all.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, we just can't.
Okay.
All right. Those are good questions. Important questions. I'll possibly, in fact, mention this recording, these questions, to students if they have questions about Assessment 3, because I think we've gone through some very useful stuff for students. So good questions. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Paul. Paul, your hand up.
Looking for the mute button. Found it eventually.
Yeah.
This is about assessment 2. Just
Okay.
the end bits about the extra data. How much extra data do we need to submit? Do we need to get extra models?
More than 10. More than 10
extra,
images per thing.
The classes. So
no extra classes?
Must it be across all the existing classes like tomatoes, apples, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah? Okay.
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
That's all?
Goodbye.
All right.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Cheers.
thanks.
Night.
See you. Nasantha?
One more questions about your lecture. You were
Okay.
talking about that distance vector, not the vector matrix. Huh?
Distance between vectors? Yeah.
Yeah, like rather than tokenize everything, like language, I mean, words. So you show that 3 by 3 matrix, huh? For the distance example on I don't see it on the lecture, but it's in the slides.
Can you tell me which
all the
like
way
where it was?
Actually at the beginning.
At the beginning of lecture 7 or lecture 8, or are you talking about a different lecture?
First lecture today.
First lecture today, at the beginning, we saw a 3 by 3 matrix.
Yeah, no, 3 like when you start the tokens, yeah.
We start tokens, we've got word tokens.
And
so
then,
I'll start from the beginning. So I'm just gonna start going down and you tell me when to stop, okay?
Yeah. Further down.
Is this on this? Okay.
No, further. You sure? Yeah, go down. Yeah, this one.
This one?
Yeah. Say that the vector space embedding.
Sorry, say again?
So this one, second one, the vector space embedding, yeah? With the
Vector
distance.
space, yeah, vector space embedding, yep.
And distance. So you convert that, no, sorry, not convert, not the right word. So this way, you can, have limited, I mean, what we call this, you can have limited resources to, for the tokenization, is it? That's how I get that. So by doing this, by doing this distance, like, this is the 3 vectors.
3 vectors, yeah.
Yeah, cat, surprise dog, rather than, one hot embedding, this long
hmm
vector.
hmm
So how to do this way? I mean, I think it's complicated to explain, huh?
Sorry,
To
I'm gonna try and I'm not sure I followed your question, so I'm just gonna say what I think I heard from you. You're you feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, you feel like you understand the one-hot embedding somewhat, that you know where that comes from. We've talked about that. But your question is, how do we get this smaller version of
yeah, yeah,
these vector space embeddings on the right?
yeah, yeah. How do you get this simple?
How do you get
Uh,
those simple ones? The answer is that the model learns how to get those values.
how to get this value?
Yeah, so to complete this, let's complete the story,
Yeah,
focusing only on these vector space embeddings. Okay. So at the beginning of training, before you've done
yeah,
any LLM training at all, you say, I want, in this case, I want every word to have to be a vector of size 3. So it's only got 3 dimensions to it. In reality, we actually pick around 1,000 for each word, or maybe 2,000 sometimes. Um, but for this example, each word has a vector of size 3. At the beginning of training, all of these um, values in that vector are completely random. And then
okay,
during training, these will move, and at the end of, and they'll just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving as the model learns how words are related and how it should use the words together until at the end, they end up next to each other. Or they end up with cat and dog being close to each other and far away from surprise because the model has learned to move them around. So you can imagine maybe we should look at the one down here. You can imagine that at the beginning of training, before the model's learned anything, you might have can you see my cursor by the way?
yeah, yeah, I can see.
Yeah, so maybe dog is down here and cat is up here at the beginning of training, just randomly, because it's randomly placed. During each step of training, what happens is that all of these word tokens every word token that gets used in that step of training gets pushed a little bit in one direction. It gets so maybe cat gets pushed a little this way, dog gets pushed a little this way, and all the other words get pushed that way and that way and that way and that way, and they all get pushed in different directions. Every step of training is actually pushing those points in the space, pushing that vector into another spot in the space, right? And during training, you do thousands and thousands of steps to update the weights and update the position. So over time, you end up with dog gets pushed this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, and it ends up over here. And cat started over here and it gets pushed over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, over here. It gets pushed, push, push, and it ends up here at the end of training. And it, the model is doing this. It's placing these words so that it can optimize the loss function, essentially.
Okay,
So this is during the first phase of training. This is self-supervised learning. So when it's doing this, where it's figuring out what word should go here, the easiest way to get this right is for similar words to be in a similar spot. And so
okay,
that encourages the model to be moving those points by adjusting those numbers so that eventually you end up in this situation where the vectors describe a distance between the words in terms of similarity. Does that make sense?
yeah. What is this? What is this? Numbers represent?
In terms of columns, we don't know. There's no definitive meaning to each of the columns. The only thing that matters in this vector space is measuring distance between the vectors. What each column means is arbitrary. It doesn't mean anything that we can discern.
Okay. So this vector stored in the repository, huh? It's stored there
It's stored
while
alongside the model, yeah.
alongside the model, and then identify the word using that numbers.
Yep, that's right. So then
Okay.
the ID comes in and that tells you it's this embedding. and then use that embedding.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No. I thought it's because you're showing the picture. This is through 2D. I mean, like a graph, scatter plot, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe the three numbers represent the X, Y, Z coordinate thing, like
That's correct. Yep. Yeah, that's right. It does. It does. Yeah. So,
okay.
or you can think of it as doing that. But if you go to 1,000 dimensions, it's not X, Y, Z anymore, right?
Yeah.
That's all. But like look at I only pointed to this graph, but you can look at this graph. So the axes are labeled learn feature 1, learn feature 2, learn feature 2, and learn feature 3 here.
Yeah.
So remember how we did like if we're looking at 3D, you can do like side by side 2D graphs,
Yeah.
or you can like look at it in full 3D.
Yeah.
We're just looking at side by side, but this is a 3D. Like if there's 3 columns, then it's 3D position in space. That's equivalent.
Okay. So it's a multi-dimensional. Then you had
It's
to combine
multi-dimensional. Yeah.
combine the like maybe many dimension. I mean, we can't visualize that. Huh?
I am not sure what your question is there, but I do want
No,
to
no, what
quickly.
I'm saying is, that the three columns, if it's a 3D type, like I'm not saying 3D, but if it's represent 3D,
Yeah.
so it's a position of X, Y, Z something
Yeah.
with the distance. But if you have more dimension, more than 3 dimension, then you can't visualize that. But then there's some dimension connected. Huh?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you
Uh,
can't show it, you can't visualize it, but it's still there.
okay, yeah.
Something I
Well,
will, I do want to emphasize though, is what I talked about before about not knowing what the dimensions mean.
yeah,
What I'm saying is I don't know, we don't know what X means. We don't know what more in the X or less in the X means. We don't know what more in the Y or less in the Y means. Any table of just numbers,
yeah,
you can, if it has 3 columns, so long as it's just numbers in those 3 columns, you can put those points into a 3D space. There's nothing
yeah,
special about the numbers, right? They're just numbers. But in a table, they're just numbers. In a visual, they're something we can get our hands, we can sort of get our mind around about like distances between
yeah,
them. So no matter what your table is, if it's just made up of numbers, it's the same thing. It's identical to being points in a space, which you can visualize potentially.
yeah. No, yeah. Thank you. But what I was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's a silly question, but you know what? When you have how it store in your model in a some way that
Mm-hmm.
maybe it is like something like linked list. Uh, I mean, there was no real. It's not a table form, not the tabular form. It's 3D. Uh, if it's a record or if it's something link data structure.
No, no. All the model sees is an array,
Arrays, okay.
and and there's no. It's just like even the model doesn't even see the array. All the model like this is the boundary of the model, and you got the embedding before the model. This is sort of like um. You think of this just as an array. You write code that picks out the element of the array. There's no formal structure that holds the relationships between them. Those we talked about this in earlier lectures, and you could watch the
Okay.
recording. But we talk
Yeah.
about this is being an implicit structure, right?
I'm guessing.
Whenever you have this, it's an implicit structure based on the fact that in 3D space they would be close together or far away. There's no explicit structure. There's no system that says, okay, this is exactly this far away from that one. This is exactly that far away from that one. That's just something that comes out of having embeddings in a space.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, Lathan.
Yeah, thank you very much. I gotta go. Thanks. Thank you
Okay.
for all explanation and everything.
Well, good. That's what I'm here for.
Thanks.
Abelardo, you were next.
Oh, yeah, okay, good. Now I am just pertaining back again to final assessment number 3. Okay. Now
Three, yep.
I understand that you mentioned about ChatGPT. Can I use the tools that we use on the thing, the lava or the net for image classification. Can I
Yep.
use that one?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can use the tools, you can use Lava or Quen 3.5
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
assessment 3 as part of your proposal.
Okay.
Absolutely.
As long as it's linked to an industrial application, correct?
Uh
If it's linked to an industrial
to
application, yeah.
some kind of meaningful application. Like the example isn't an industrial application exactly. Like it doesn't have to be very industrial, is all I'm saying, right?
Now, but
So long as it's
if I have an industrial application, I can use it.
yes,
I can
absolutely.
use
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. That's okay. Clear. I think
All right.
okay.
That's all.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, cool. Mira, you're up next.
Hey, sorry, I'm just gonna
Hi.
ask, I'm just reading this number three, and probably it's just me still not getting it. So what we're trying to do is develop something between the users and ChatGPT, or like with and Copilot. Is it? Is that what we're doing?
Roughly speaking, yes. Yeah, roughly speaking.
And why? It's just to make it simpler. Like it's just like
Yes.
say,
Yeah.
so say for example, banking,
Okay.
they yeah, like
Mhm.
um something, oh, I can't even think. Maybe not banking.
Banking
Um,
seems dangerous.
I know exactly. I don't even want to get there. Say like recommending a restaurant or something like that, right? So you can
Okay.
go, um, what is a user inputs? Do you then need to sort of like get users to input something, and then you're trying to generate something in between that
Hmm.
produce and then link that back into the chat GPT? Yeah.
Yep.
It can
So
be,
so when you're saying that, I was thinking you could go like restaurant
yes,
recommendation. Maybe
correct.
you can say, okay,
Shuffling where
I'm
you
gonna
want to shuffle
paste
them.
in menus from 5 different restaurants. I'm gonna say get the user to say what kind of restaurants they like, and then it's gonna recommend one of the 5 for them, something like that.
And are you meant to build the whole thing?
You are meant to show a little bit of the system, how it could work
Yeah.
by copy pasting things into different tools. So you're not expected to like have a system that works, but maybe if like say from Google Colab, you can um, upload 5 menus into the Colab notebook and use Quen 3.5 like we've done in the labs and give it a system prompt that says someone's going to tell you about this. You need to evaluate these things, and then you show a user prompt being pasted in, and then you run it in Google Colab, and then that's your demonstration of how it could work.
Okay. And can we sort of use AI to help us along the way? Like as
Yes,
in,
you can. So you can like paste all of this into an AI system
yeah.
and then say, I'm planning on doing this. Can you help me decide which tools I should use? You can use AI to do that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then you just need to then, so basically this is full AI, yeah? Like you can just
It's
use,
not full AI. You must write your own words. You cannot use AI to write a script for you. You
oh
can't use
yes, yes,
AI
obviously.
to
Yeah.
generate visuals for your proposal solution. You can't use AI to write code. Uh,
Oh, really? But like say for example, you want to get a prompt. Do we just write
yeah.
the prompt in, uh, I've never done it before, so I don't know. I need to try it first.
Okay.
Do you just put the prompt in the Google Colab and it can do it for you? Is that how it works? And
Um,
you, and you
so
know, just open a notebook and it will just work, yeah?
so you could so when you open Google Colab,
Yeah.
we've given you some sheets.
Yes.
You can copy some of the code cells into a new one to
So
be
what
able
sheet
to.
were you referring to? Sorry, I was disconnected for a while just now. Did you go through any sheet? Is that in the
No,
assignments?
there's no template sheet for assessment 3. But
Ah,
what you can do, so for example, like you could take what do we got? Assessment. Let's go back to assessments. Right? You could go to assessment 2 details and instructions. You could
yeah.
go to the Colab notebook
Mm-hmm.
and you could go, I want to be able to use Quen 3.5 or Lava or something, and then you can just um, copy parts of it, whichever part you need. where's the model? Oh no, assessment 2 is not, no, assessment 1. Assessment 1 has that one. Sorry, my bad. Assessment 1 loads the model. Assessment 1, you can grab the sheet, and then there's a code cell at the top that loads the model,
Yeah.
and then you can copy all of this code,
Yeah.
and then copy this code, and then you have a lava model.
Yeah.
And then you
So
have
to
another code
understand,
sheet, and
yeah,
you can use the lava model like this, right? The same way we've used it in lab. You can just like copy this part, and then you can use that as well,
yeah,
as part of your assessment 3. It's up to you.
okay. And to understand exactly how the code work, obviously we can cut and paste into the AI to just
If
try
you
to
want to.
understand that.
Yep. Yeah. If you want to. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a go, and then
Okay.
I'm sure I'll connect again. Thank you.
Sure. That's fine. All right. Antonius. I'm unable to hear you if you are speaking. Perhaps your microphone is not working. I see that you are unmuted, but
Yeah, is that better?
yep. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh,
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Yeah, hoping I can share my screen. I'm just running into a bit of a problem with the assessment.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
You can share your
Thank you.
screen.
Thank you. Allow to share screen. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just playing around with performance tuning, so hyperparameter tuning. I'm going back up here and just making the pre-trained model true. But when I'm doing that and that's running, the pre-trained component here doesn't change from F to T, but I'm not sure why.
From F to T.
Yeah, so it should be going to pre-trained is true.
Okay, so to see whether pre-trained has gone true, you look at the graph that's generated, and you can see in the title it says that pre-trained is equal to true.
Oh, yeah,
and what's happening there is that the learning rate is a bit too high. I would recommend at least going down to 0.05.
Yeah.
And then seeing how it works. Yeah, if you get this in the assignment, here's the assignment. So you get this, just set it to 0.05, not really low, just 0.5, and then continue as you were. So that's too many zeros, just 1 0. Oh, sorry, no, that's not. Yeah, it should only be 1 0. Should only be 1 0. Yeah.
0.05. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I was trying to get the F to change on this side, but okay, no, that makes sense.
I'm just not clear where the F is.
Oh, it's just here where.
Oh, that F. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just for your information, what that F stands for is string format.
Okay.
So that indicates that the string which comes after it, the whole string, is got some format stuff going on. So that's Python code. It's got nothing to do with true false.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good.
All right. Thank you.
All good?
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Good. Quinton, we're a little over, but we'll answer
Hey,
quickly.
Brandon. Just a quick one. Just on assessment
Okay.
3, I
Yes,
just want to
assessment
confirm that it doesn't need to be connected to the content for assessment 1 and 2. It can be created. For example, I can use a data
Yes.
set to solve a problem.
Absolutely. Yes, you
Okay,
can.
cool.
You can do the same kinds of things as in assessment 1 and 2 if you wanted to. Like if you had another data set and you wanted to do zero shot on it, that's perfectly fine.
Awesome.
But it doesn't have to be, it has no requirement to be connected to assessment 1 and 2 in terms of fruit or whatever. Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So that's time. So hopefully you'll happy working on assessment 2 and assessment 3 when you get there.
Good.
A reminder that I won't be taking the Friday labs. I will be away. There'll be somebody else taking Friday labs. So if you're going to them, you'll say hello to Aaron. And with that,
Have a nice weekend. Have a nice weekend, Brandon.
have a nice weekend yourself. Have a nice weekend,
Thank you.
everyone, and good night.
Good night.
Yeah.